Now, gone are the days where we used to have conversations about the youth without directly involving them or doing it for them. Welcome to the premiere show of Vijana Tubonge, where we'll delve into meaningful conversations that touch at the heart of the livelihoods of the youth. My name is David Kagina. I'll be the host for this show, and definitely joining me is a panel of guests. I'd love to introduce them from the very left. From the very left of your screen, you'll have in a suit is Professor Paul Kibicho, and he has quite a profile right there. Professor Paul Kibicho is married, yes, but he has a working experience of over 31 years in the field of business and finance. Currently, he is the executive financial consultant at Britam and also privately practices consultancy. At the middle is Margaret Nzele, who is the founder of Finance on Command. She also holds certifications in financial models and valuation analysis. And also she has a background in construction economics. And so we expect that she will be bringing in a unique blend of skills in the field of finance. And to the other end, we have Robert Ochieng. Robert Ochieng is from Abojani. Abojani is a company that guides the youth matters financially. He's a visionary, also entrepreneur, and a co-founder of the said investment company, Abojani, which is a leading financial education platform that has so far empowered over 20,000 youths in this country. And so we expect that most definitely his input will be meaningful to today's conversation. Remember, you can, after we will going to have a panel discussion with the three guests right there. After that, I have a live audience with me right here, and most definitely we're going to be engaging in a question and answer session to answer and address the concerns about financial inclusion, which is the topic for today. And then after that, we're going to be getting feedback from you, our viewers. Remember, you can participate and be part of this conversation from right where you're watching from. We have an SMS number that is 20845. Once you dial, you send the word Tubonge to that number, you'll get cues and prompts to give in your details, your name and other registration details that they'll ask for. Also, in case you do have a question, comment, or contribution, reach out to our social media platforms at K24, that is on all social media platforms, and K24 TV. Also, remember to use the hashtag Vijana Tubonge, because this is a show for us. And now, delving into our topic, as we talk of financial inclusion, we have quite a number of interesting statistics. Now, looking at the numbers we have a research that was recently done in 2021 by FinAccess. Now, the research on financial inclusion among adults has skyrocketed. It says that financial inclusion among the adults has skyrocketed from an interesting 26.7% to 83.7%. That is since 2006. But here's where the catch is. Financial health plummeted from 39.4% to a mere 17.1% in just five years. So maybe just to indulge you, Prof, how did we get here? When did the rain start beating us? Matters financial inclusion.
Thank you very much. Number one, I want to make our youth realize that I do teach them in a university, and that is one of the lines that I teach. The most unfortunate thing that I can say is that our syllabus does not include anything to do with what we call financial management aspect as a unit, and more so as a course that has been entrenched into our youths, right from when they go to school. So the issue of financial management, financial inclusion has not been given what we call the lion's share in our syllabus. So I would say that the lanes started beating us when we forgot to put this important aspect into our curriculum, so that anytime the child goes to school, he or she can understand from the word go, what is, number one, what is financial planning, what is financial management, how do you make money, how do you spend your money, and how do you pay yourself? So that is where we lost it. And my advice has been that the government must make sure like I know shall be going to what we call the financial inclusion to the youth that we have here. The question is, we have what we call the Youth Enterprise Fund for Development Fund. The question is, have they been empowered in the first place?
All right, I'll get back to you. Yes. But now moving on to Margaret, this notion I'm sure is not new to you. Tunasema kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. And so what are some of the key challenges you'd say are there, or hurdles that prevent the youths being part of financial inclusion or having proper financial health?
Definitely what Prof has touched on, education from when the youth are in the school, so that by the time they are getting to adult age, which is 18, they're already equipped to the skills. Second, and most definitely, it's very important to have the youth have a say in, when we're talking about the policies, about these financial institutions and products and services. It's important for them to have a say. What do they need? What do they require? What are the challenges they're facing? And from that information, possible and probable solutions can be given to help them better, to help us better.
All right. And now to Robert, I think this now you are in a better position to respond to these, since I would assume one of the reasons why we've had an increased financial inclusion in terms of numbers would be the coming of technology, spaces where youths can probably get and access finances. So why is there a deficit when it comes to financial health?
Yes, so I think when you look at financial education, we look at 3 pillars. So first of all, you need to have the right mindset, like just connecting with where you need money. Some people only come to think about money when they don't have it, so they get worried. But when they have it, they never think of how to handle it well. So that mindset is key. Just knowing that something might come up tomorrow, so whatever money you get, you need to set part of it aside. So that is saving, and that is what starts the journey. Then the second thing after the mindset is the skill set, knowing what to do with the money when it comes home. So it's very dangerous to be in a position where you're earning money and you don't know what to do with it. It will just be slippery. It will be coming just like soap and it goes away. So it's very important to have that. So that has been a big gap. So we've basically just had the tool set, so which is the third pillar. You have a tool like mobile money, then you don't know what to do with it. So that has been the gap. So I think with financial empowerment and more conversations. So you find again, there are a lot of conversations online, and I think most of it is entertainment. So I think we need to balance so that even if we can just give these important topics 5% of the times, it will help us, because that is empowerment, and empowerment is a life skill. It's something that drives you through the journey of life.
Yeah, so, I can see Prof is agreeing and nodding with you that indeed there is a gap when it comes to education matters, finances. What do you have to say about that?
As you have said during the intro, I have been working as a financial person for 31 years. And I can tell you that most of our youths, as you can see here, they have been used to seeing men and women driving what we call luxurious cars. But they did not take a bit of time to explain to them how one can get that kind of a position in life. So one of the key things, as my brother has said there, is to make sure that you start training your children, like I have done with my children from the word go, that there is what we call exerting the mind. Now, you must exert what we call, you must use your time, energy, and brains to make money. So number one, there is no free money. This aspect of young men and women thinking that you can just walk it and you get money should not be the case. So we have a responsibility as a nation, first of all as a nation, to make sure that we include this issue of financial training and planning to our students from when they join school. Because I have told you, if you are doing accounts, you can actually understand a little bit of what we call financial accounting, financial management, but it's not given the actual weight that will help our people to be well embedded when it comes to what we call matters adoring money. So we have an obligation as a government, we have obligations as parents to make sure that we train our children. When my daughter sees me driving a car, not just come from heaven, it was not manna from heaven. I had to work hard to wake up early in the morning to either borrow money from a circle like Shofco, or to borrow money from other financial institutions, but putting into consideration many factors. What would be the cost of finance? Am I buying what we call an asset, or am I buying a liability? Because but many people don't even understand what's a liability, what's an asset.
And Prof, before we get there, you know, you're talking about fixing these when the children are still young. But now, with us here is an array of youth, I included. We are wondering, where is that money? Okay, is it too late for us to start learning about education? How can we fix it?
Thank you. Number one, we do organize seminars for the youths. Unfortunately, many youths, I don't know where they go. We expect maybe 1 million youths even to turn up because they form the bulk of our population. So it is not late yet. By the way, this is the time that you need now to reflect on matters money. That when I get money, what are the priorities? Priority number one, when you are a youth, is to think about your future. And you start your future now. So the problem has been many youths, they suffer from what we call instant gratification. Instant gratification means when a youth gets money, the first thing he buys is a WRX Subaru. That's the first thing they buy, WRX Subaru. And you see, we appreciate that that is where they are. But the question is, if you look, if I may give what people understand most, the hierarchy of needs, in what we call the base of the pyramid, we have what we call the basic needs. And one of the basic needs is not a car, for instance. One of the basic needs is to ensure that you start creating what we call a solid financial foundation that you can rely on because circumstances may occur that may alter your health. So what will you be depending on? It is the financial foundation that you start creating now by starting this habit and culture of saving money. One of the things I've been telling people, save money and invest money. Saving money, for instance, with Shop Kosako, so that after 6 months or 7 months, you can borrow money and you start a small enterprise. We will be making them understand which are the areas of entrepreneurship where they can put a few coins and they start making money. And I will make them also understand that a journey of 1,000 miles starts when they see me driving a Lamborghini or a Ferrari for that matter. It has been a journey. But you see, young people, young men, young ladies and young men, they think that maybe you wake up one morning and you find it parked at your parking yard. No, it's a journey that people, youth, you admire the product, but you don't like embracing the process. So the issue is actually embracing the process by appreciating that you start saving money now, and of course going for what we call financial literacy courses, which we normally offer, both online and physical, so that you may know how to grow your net worth when you're young enough, so that when you hit my age, you have already met the basics.
All right.
Yes.
I want to go to Margaret, but let me go to Robert at first. So when Prof talks of, instant gratification and processes, savings, these things sound so abstract, considering in this time and age, we as the youth, unataka uonekane uko na, you want to feel as a person. Hutaki kutembea kama mifugo. You want to drive something nice, you want to dress in something nice. How then do we strike this balance, of saving while living life, not waiting to get too old so that you can start living life? Because again, with the youth, they'll tell you only live once again.
Yeah, so first of all, before I comment, the comeback for you only live once is yo-yo. So the comeback for YOLO is yo-yo. So when you don't have your money, you'll be on your own. So when you have that emergency, you'll call your friends, no one will answer, and you'll start calling them scams. So what you need to do is to live a balanced life financially. So when you get money, know that money can help you do 3 things. So the first one is to pay bills. Second one is to live life. Then third one is to save and invest for tomorrow. So create a basket and say, maybe when I get my money, up to 50% is for needs, things like paying bills, airtime and stuff like that. Then about 30% can be for yourself, family and friends. Then 20% you save and invest. So that discipline is important because you are in a journey. And like I've said, when you have an emergency, let's say that emergency is worth 1,000 Kenya shillings and you have the money will turn that emergency into a mere inconvenience. So it will turn from a problem into a mere inconvenience. But if you don't have the 1,000, that emergency can create other problems. You can call your aunt, your uncle, your mom, and honestly, they don't have the money. Then you start telling them funny things. So it can give birth to so many problems. So it's important to have that discipline and to know that you are in a journey. And above all, personal finance is very personal, So there's no one to please. Yeah, there's no one to please. Actually, pleasing people is a very difficult job. Ask comedians or people who do movies. You can come up with something and no one laughs. Yeah, so it's just important to make yourself happy. And he's also said that when you set aside your goals and you achieve them, that is the highest form of happiness. And actually, financial literacy, financial education, and doing what you've told yourself that you're going to do financially and achieving it is one of the highest forms of freedom.
All right. And now, Margaret and Zele, you'll agree with me that a huge chunk of the youth are mostly either just living campus or are in their entry-level jobs, especially with the current state of employment in the country. And so when you talk, when Robert and Professor Paul are talking about, savings and distributing what your income, does it really make sense, that financial model, does it really make sense for the youth who are earning really small amounts of cash?
Okay, first and foremost, even before we get to the savings and investing, income is important because you cannot save and invest what you have. So first, when you have the stable income is when you move to saving and investing, or saving to invest. The good thing with some of the products that are currently in the market, you could save in an MMF, money market fund, with as low as 100 Kenya shillings. So we cannot give excuses for not choosing to save or invest, yet there are options which we can invest and save with very little, because wanasema haba na haba ujaza kibaba. The 100 will add up to such a big amount. So you're better off opting to save and invest this small amount, put aside the small amount, other than saying, juu ni kidogo sana, I won't even. So there are options we have to set aside the small amounts, so there's no excuse for you not to save and choose your future, your financial health. Yes.
All right. And Prof, when you're talking about, haba na haba, again, that takes a lot of time. In this time and era, the needs, especially looking at the current high cost of living and the trend of things, like she's put it, 100 today, 100 tomorrow, the next day, will I really ever get to driving that Subaru we are talking about here with that model, especially considering the high cost of living? Is it still achievable?
Allow me first of all to quote a man called Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and how come A students work for C students and B students work for the government, and the 4 quadrants. One of the things that our youth must remember at all times is that what we lack is financial hygiene and financial discipline. How come that the same youth who say they don't have money, they are completely intoxicated during daytime by those illicit briefs? Do they collect them from the loads? No. So that means they have some money they can save, but they have directed into the wrong projects. One of the things that I want to remind you is this, and I'm going to quote a man by the name Mr. Parkinson. He says, human minds have the capacity to create problems equivalent to the amount of money available. I hope you get that.
You can sit on that, think about it deeply. Margaret, just taking you back to what you'd mentioned about the forms of investment. You'd mentioned MMF as an avenue for investment. So saving versus investment, what's the best model to take?
I like what Robert said. Personal finance is personal. For each and everyone in the room, it's different for each of us. So it's just a matter of looking at your priorities, what are your goals, and finding a suitable plan, a suitable option, as you have said. If my goal is to have an investment, I will opt for that. If my priority is having life insurance, I'll opt for the saving routes. So it's just a matter of looking at your priorities, looking at your plans, your goals, and choosing a suitable action plan based on what is dear to you. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Yes, Robert. Look like you want to...
yeah, so I would want to add something there. So first of all, on saving and investing, I want just to guide the youth that money is a byproduct of 2 other things. So first of all, you must have something that you can do that is valuable to other people. So it can be a skill, you can be a plumber, you can be an Uber driver, so you create value for other people. So it's very important to build those skills. And the younger you are, the better. So I usually tell people that about age 18 to 24, to 26, around there is when you should be building those skills. Then now, also build relationships. Yeah, so you should know how to interact with people, customers, organizations. Don't just go on Twitter, then you start abusing companies or banks. One day you'll go for a loan and you'll just open the Twitter account and show you what you are doing. So you have to have good relationships, because now with the relationship and capital, you're able to connect. And now once you get the money, the first job is to be consistent. So I can say, patience itafanya bakuli kuendo. So if you are patient, the savings that you have will grow over time, whether it is in Shofco Sacco, and start with something that you are familiar with at a younger age. Then later on, as you get more knowledge, you can try other things. So start with what is easy, straightforward to you, regulated like Shofco Sacco. You know who is managing it, because sometimes when we work with people who are friends around us, someone can disappear with our money. So it's also good to look at regulations and just be consistent. So that is the biggest difference. So the biggest problem is that people are not consistent. People don't save consistently. But the people who save consistently, they end up doing very well because that is the best teacher, actually.
Okay,
the fact that you're able to do it consistently.
Just to cut you short and throw this back to you, you're talking about using what is familiar to us. Currently, I'd say what has really contributed to an increase in financial inclusivity, where most of the youths can access, say, cash by using mobile phones, mobile applications, other softwares online, and lending platforms, which have at times high interest rates. Does this have an effect in the long run in terms of how much wealth this youth can accumulate?
Yes, it has. So technology comes with what we call availability bias, whereby you just borrow the mobile loan because it is available. So that is called velocity of money. But to grow wealth, you need to have money sit at rest. So pesa imenyamaza ndio pesa mzuri, si ya kumove from one wallet to the other. So you must go to the circle where that money is just stored and silent. At the end of the day, you get your interest. So this one that is moving from here to there, sijui mobile loans, here itakusaidia.
Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that, Margaret?
I'd like to say, you know, there's good debt and bad debt, right? What we need to do is use the resources available for the betterment of our financial state. So good debt and bad debt. I can borrow 10,000 shillings from a financial loaning platform, right? And go drink or go for a party or travel, and someone else can borrow the 10,000 shillings and invest it in their business or invest it in a friend's business. That's the difference, good debt or bad debt. So are you using these opportunities, this platform, to better your financial status or not?
All right. Maybe, Paul, Professor, when we talk of financial inclusion, you know, saving and circles, with the current state of economy in the country, everyone is complaining. Is it still possible for these youth right here and those who are watching us at home to thrive in these economic times?
Okay, what I say, and I'll tell my viewers, is that we say desperate times calls for desperate measures. You might be living in a very expensive house because the economy was good then. There is no harm in shifting from that expensive house. But first of all, as my brother Robert said, personal finance is personal. Avoid what we call perception, because the problem with our youth is that they want to be taken to another level, which is cosmetic, meaning they have not yet gone there, but they want their peers to see as if they are doing well financially. One of the things that you must know is that if you want to increase your value, you must move with the times. If the economy, if you have been, for instance, living in a house worth 15,000 shillings and the economy is bad, what do? You can shift. Let people talk, because by the end of the day, it is only you who knows your financial destination. So number one, you have to adjust yourself. So the first thing to do is to work on your attitude towards money. Money, believe you me, when you have money, any surplus money that you have, it will tell you, spend me. I was very happy when he gave that formula. 50% goes to what we call the current expenditure. 30% goes to what we call paying off debts. 20% goes to investment. So in the moment, if you realize, for instance, if you realize that your income has been 30,000 shillings and the cost of living has gone up, what do? Do you still continually maintain the same lifestyle that you had before the economy became worse? You start now another A, which is called adjusting your finances. Adjustment means, if for instance you've been saving 15,000 shillings per month, but now the economy has changed, there is no problem in you reducing what we call the 15,000 to 10,000 so that you can be able to accommodate other things that you had. But you must observe what we call, one of the key things that you must observe is what we call the leaking areas of your money. Which are the leaking areas? Because most of our youths, they have got so many leakages, and that's where the problem comes. Again, as my sister has said here, you need to identify which are your vehicles at this point in time that you can use to invest. There was a time a treasury bill was going at 1 million shillings, a treasury board at 50,000 shillings. Do I have the money to go to that particular area? Or which is my area now based on my income? So the income that you get basically now defines for you the kind of an investment you can take. We have what we call offshore investment. We have what we call debentures. There are 5 types. We have what we call hedging. We have some stock indices, single stocks. We have all these commodities. But the question is, if your income is, for instance, 30,000 to 40,000 shillings, then how do you manage that? There are some luxuries that you must cut. If you want to enjoy what we call financial independence and financial freedom, you must observe what we call, I can tell you 3 things that you need to observe. Number 1, you must be a strict person in terms of budgeting, because budgeting allows you to know how much money you require at each point of your life. Number 2, you must, as I said, observe what we call delayed gratification. Don't say that you must have a car. Don't go and buy a 51-inch TV. At this point in time, no. Even that 151-inch TV, the president does not get out of that TV to say hi to you, Mr. Maina. So one of the things that you must appreciate, wait, delayed gratification. The third thing that you must embrace in life is to know that for you to form a dam, you must stop the flow of the river.
All right.
Note that.
All right. Thank you. And Margaret, when Professor talks like that, and just taking us back to the conversation he had about driving these good cars, sometimes as youth, you're told walk with 5 billionaires, you will be the 6th. Mm-hmm. So where would you say is the place for mentors when it comes to financial health and inclusion?
So first, mentors can share the knowledge they have. Mostly mentors are in a better state than we are in, or they're older, so they can share the knowledge that they have, and they can guide us through applying the knowledge. Example, if it's when it comes to budgeting, as he has mentioned, setting these financial goals, investing, mentors can share the knowledge and guide us through the knowledge. Another thing, mentors can help us with networking. They can share with us their networks, and they can show us these opportunities that are there that otherwise on our own we wouldn't have access to these opportunities. And lastly, with the checkup, you said you're going to do A, B, C, D regarding your finances. Where are you on that? You said you're going to follow with a certain person regarding an opportunity. Where are you on that? So they can help with following up the networks and sharing information.
All right. Yes, Robert.
Yeah, so I believe mentors are very important. Like I always say that what sometimes we lack is what we call social capital. So it's very, very important to learn that the way the world works, it works at what we call interdependence layer. So there's no one who is self-made. There's no one who can do anything on their own. Because probably when coming here, either use public means or private means. And all those things, we are not the ones who designed them. So that tells you that if you want to grow, you must find a way to tap into the resources that you have at family level, friends, the people who can hold you accountable, and always try to speak to people at the right time so that when you need them, it is a bit more comfortable. Because no one is just seated there, for example, to wait for us to ask them for help. But if we interact in a social way, it becomes natural, and they'll have us in mind when opportunities come up. So it's very, very important for us to really be in a place where also the people who are in our networks, our phone numbers, so the phone book is a very, very powerful resource. So there are problems that the phone book can solve. You just pick a phone, you call, and it is sorted, yeah. So it's important for us to do that, yeah.
All right. Prof, would you agree with that?
There's something that he has mentioned, which I really treasure, social capital. Number one, we normally say, show me your colleagues and I can tell you your character, which you have lightly put when you say you're an average of 5 of your friends. And if you want to soar high like eagles, you must stop moving around with pigeons. So one of the things that you must identify is that person you call a mentor. I have mentored more than 5 million people in my 31 years career. And I tell them that mentorship must require one key aspect, discipline. If you don't have financial discipline, and especially, allow me to say this, and I'm going to use the gender which is called female gender for that matter, or ladies for that matter. There's this animal that comes and attacks them, which is called impulse buying. The moment a lady sees a bag, in a shopping place, she takes a mental flight to her wardrobe at home immediately. Which skirt will match this bag? The next question, how much is this? You must actually avoid what we call impulse buying. If you're a young man, and of course I'll tell ladies here, that if you're not pursuing to become a Miss World, don't compete in an arena where your boga points are not counting. Ask yourself, if you want, for instance, by the time you're turning 35 or 40 to be financially independent, what must you do? There are some don'ts in financial world, and I'll tell you this. Number one, avoid pursuing showbiz. You know what I mean by showbiz? You find a lady today, she has got Cleopatra, Hot Water, Daniela, Mosodo, Moho, Ganaya. The same head, being converted into many shades. So one of the things that you must do, as my brother said there once again, matters finances are personal. So you must have a financial goal, which is very, very smart. Ask yourself, where do I want to be? Like, you know, personally, I married at age 21. If you think I married daddy, the problem is you, not me, because my wife has never run away. She's still in my compound. So what I'm saying, You see, you need to ask yourself, what are your priorities in life? Do I still do I have to live in rented premises until I'm 50 years? Do I have to keep maybe taking my children to what we call government-sponsored secondary schools? So once you have what we call dreams, once you set a dream, a financial goal, it puts you into perspective, and you come to the realization that every coin counts in your journey to financial freedom. So discipline is key.
All right, thank you. Let's hold that conversation right there before we head to a short commercial break. And remember, this conversation and this entire program is being hosted by Shofco Sacco, which offers youth-centric financial products and services, challenging the current paradigm. And to be part of that, remember there's an SMS number, which is 20845. You can dial it on your phone, and you'll be given several prompts in which you will fill, showing your interest in the platforms they have and the opportunities they have within the Sacco on that number. After this short commercial break, we are going to be having a question and answer session where we'll have our live audience right here asking the questions they have to the panelists. And that will be an opportunity for you watching this from back home or wherever you're watching it from to send your questions on our social media platform. Use the hashtag Vijana Tubonge, and most definitely we'll be sampling some of your questions and get them addressed by the panel right here. All right, welcome back. And in case you're joining us right now, the show is Vijana Tubonge, brought to you by Shofco Sacco. Remember, this is the time to send in your question, and we'll have our panelists who we are having the discussion with getting to respond to them. But now, even as we wait for you to type in the questions using the hashtag Vijana Tubonge on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram platforms, we will be receiving live questions from this live audience. And I'd love to start from this very end. And when you're given the microphone, please be as brief as possible. Ask your question, but start with your name. Twende kazi.
My name is Salma Twali from Dagoretti North. So mine is going straight kwa mwanadada wetu. Okay, I want to know the difference between economic inclusion and women economic empowerment. So this is direct to you, madam.
All right, thank you very much, and we can have the mic passed on to the next person right there. Yes, it's coming right there. Milo Arelu, I hope, Margaret, you've noted that question. There it goes, jitambulishe, alafu uliza swali lako.
Hello everyone. I'm OGM David from Madare, Mashimoni Village. Back to Kiswahili. maybe what I can... my questions are maybe from my learned friend there. What are the benefits of financial literacy? Then number two, how can you call financial literacy back to ground for people of mashinani? Then number three, how will financial literacy help us as a common wananchi from the community? Because you normally know that person ogopa kelele, person urokoko, so that means that for you to have that money so that you can use it well, you have to know how you can schedule yourself so that you can have the money that you have to use it properly. Thank you.
All right, and even as we get to pass on the mic, I'd love to now take this to start with Margaret to respond to the question that has just been asked, directed to you.
It was Salma, right? Okay, so you asked the difference between economic inclusion and empowerment. So inclusion, kukua included, basically. So that means in forums like this, where we're talking about financial matters, you're represented. There are a number of ladies. What will you get out of this forum? You'll get information, you'll get knowledge, and you'll also have access to opportunities and mentors. And when it comes to empowerment, a key thing about empowerment is information. So we're talking about knowledge on basic financial matters. We're talking budgeting, saving, investments. And another thing, how you empower someone financially, access to credit, and not just basic access to credit, but affordable credit. That means affordable in terms of how they'll access the money, how they'll be able to pay back the funds, and most importantly, affordable interest loans. So I hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
All right, Professor and
Thank you. Our brother there who started by saying that ataongea na Kiswahili na nimeshukuru sana. Ameuliza benefits of financial literacy. Obviously, benefit number one, it will make you understand where do you get money from, how do you spend your money, and how do you want money to work for you at a later date. So financial literacy gives you what we call a platform to understand, one, where do you get this money from? Where do you generate this money from? How do you use this money? How will you be able to achieve your financial goal by using the lessons that you have learned from forums such as this? The other benefit is this. It will make you prioritize. Prioritize means you need to ask yourself, do I go for a car at this point in time, or do I go for a plot? Which one is more value adding? The third thing is that financial literacy, when you go for sessions like this, it will make you know who are your friends that you need to drop. Some of the friends that you have in your phone book are purely liabilities. They only call you when they want you to go ile gym ya mkono mmoja. You know, gym ya mkono mmoja. So if you realize that the friends that you have are those that belong or subscribe to gym ya mkono mmoja, you drop them. The other thing you need to ask yourself, when you go for financial literacy sessions, where do I invest my money? I'm so happy when I see Shofko Sako here. If you want to get rich, if you want to create wealth, the place to be is to be in a circle like this. And I'll tell you, the second miracle from converting water into wine in Cana of Galilee is compound interest. When you make money in a circle like this, don't eat your dividends, capitalize. The problem with our people, when they make dividends, that is when they go for Jimmy and Mkono Mmoja. They will never become rich. What you do, when dividends have been declared, you advise the circle, please do what? Plow back. Plow back. Because in a circle, they give you dividends every year. In a circle, they have what we call lower interest rates. In a circle, they are Fred rates. So once you come for financial literacy sessions like this, they will be able to give you what we call a very good ground to understand how to manage your money. And as I pass my baton to my brother here, I'll tell you this. One of the things that you must remember to become financially independent, no pain, no gain. Mtakasha mfuguni, sharti ya iname. Na mtegemea shaduguye, kufa maskini. Over to you, Mr. Robert.
Well, all right. Bwana Robert.
Yes, so I would say when you look at financial literacy, is the know-how on how to manage your money. And it's the only language that is spoken everywhere, globally. In each household, you know, people speak different languages in different countries, but when it comes to money, it is the same throughout the world. So first of all, it's important to learn money skills so that you can be able to know how to connect your personal life goals with your finances. Because if you don't know the connection between your money and your life goals, you know very well how it happens here in Africa. As your relatives will make good use of your money, sindio? Asubuhi umepata simu, mtu analia, they know how to manipulate you. But they're doing that because you have no plan with your money. So you can plan and say probably in a month, the highest you can give out is 1K or 2K. Then just learn to say no. Because I believe each of us here wait to be paid. You normally wait to be paid, right? So there's no one who should just sit somewhere and then demand money from you. So the skills will protect you and help with your journey, the goals that you have. If you want to go for home in December, you'll start saving now, whether it is 200 Kenya shillings per month or 500. So when you achieve your goals, it means that you are in line with your money and you're able to basically live the life that you desire. So the challenge with personal finance is that there's no supervisor. You know, in most things there are supervisors. So at work, you have the boss, right? When you are in business, the customers will be demanding things from you. But when it comes to personal finance, you are on your own. Whether you waste the money or not, you know. So because of that, you need to create self-discipline by having those skills. And the best teacher is doing, is not theory. So personal finance is not about motivation, telling you that you'll go to a certain planet. It's about starting that journey, opening the circle account, then you start. That is the best teacher. And that's why those who have figured it out, they have an unfair advantage. Hautasikia akipiga kelele ati sherehe ama nini, because they already planned for the sherehe, so it's natural and it's part of their life. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Robert. You say pia sherehe na iko kwa budget. Thank you. And now we move back to the live audience and to get some few more questions, maybe starting from this end.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Mimi naitwa Lamek Wanzere from Kenya. Sasa swali yangu iko hivi. Sasa benefit ya kati ya investment na saving, gani kuna more benefit hapo hivyo?
All right, that is Lamek. Thank you. Pass the mic to the other end. There's a lady over there. Uliza swali yako.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Amrit Fever. First of all, I would like to thank Shofko Sacco for the platform inclusivity. So my question goes to the panel. I can't really remember the names, but I think the conversation was about finance, in other words. So I think in every financial platform, there should be a topic about employability or employment. So looking at the audience, most of us are youth, and I think the main problem is employment. So how can I engage in a financial literacy, whatever, in the hard terms, financial hygiene, sanitization, if I don't even have employment to even begin with, although the topic is really spicy.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get another question right there before we go back to the panel to respond.
So thank you once more for Shofko Sacco platform. My questions are, how do one develop a business plan that work? The next one is, how can one identify a suitable business opportunity, and how can one know when a business is working or not? If you have a capital in terms of finance but do not really know how to invest it, how do you go about it? There are 3 questions.
All right, thank you very much. So we had the very first question that was concerning savings and investment, which is which? The second one goes to employability. How do we get there? And the last one asks regards to management of the business. How is it functional? Is it not functioning? And which are the best areas to venture in? Now to you, to the panel, starting off from Prof.
Thank you very much. There's a very big distinction between savings and investment. Saving is for the risk averse. Investment is for people who have what we call risk appetite. Savings is a situation whereby you identify, for instance, a commercial bank where you can be putting your money every month or periodically, that is. Because that is what we call putting money in a place where you can be able to access it during your own free time, but the element of return is very minimal. So that's what we call a savings. When we talk about investment, investment is where you put your money where the risk element is present, meaning if the investment is doing pretty well, it will earn you a lot of return on it. That's what we call an investment. So the difference between a savings and an investment, of course, a savings later on graduates to become an investment, but a savings is a safe haven or a place that you put your money where the return is a bit low. An investment is where you put your money where the return is purely speculative, meaning sometimes it can go up, it can come down, but the beauty is that the return on an investment sometimes can be very, very nice and can take you to another level. So there's a distinction between savings and investment. Allow me, maybe before my other colleagues answer, I had my son, because that is my son. My firstborn daughter is 29 years, so that must be my son. He asked, we appreciate this financial literacy session, but I don't have a job. I have been telling my students when I'm teaching them, we want you people to graduate from what we call being job seekers to job creators. The richest man in the world, starting with Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Facebook, he dropped from the campus on the 2nd year. The wealthiest man in the world, Mr. Warren Buffett, has never maybe seen the inside of a university. Let me tell you, Mr. Bill Gates was invited to go to Harvard University. When students were being admitted, he refused. He said, invite me when they are graduating, I give them jobs. Meaning that he had no feeling of what a university was. So one of the things that we need to embrace is to say, whatever money, wherever you get your money from, whether you have worked as a laborer, wherever you are, we want you to make sure that the money that you get as payment is converted to become what we call a springing board to your next level financially. So you don't have white-collar jobs are no longer there. Let's be very honest with us. We have got very few people graduating from universities and getting lady jobs. So one of the things that you must do, take a complete departure from saying that you did a Bachelor of Science in Actuarial Science from JKUAT, and you're looking for a job of doing statistics or Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Your age, you hit 60, having not gotten a job. So the thing is, first of all, drop the qualifications and pursue money, because money is the currency of life today. When you go to any supermarket, they don't ask you, are you a prof? Are you a doctor? No, they ask you, where is the money? So the language of communication is what? I don't present myself to a supermarket and because I'm a prof and I have graduated 11 times, they give me merchandise. They don't give me merchandise. The question is, where is the money? They don't even want to know whether I'm Professor Kebisho, whether I'm, by the way, I'm a lawyer, whether I'm Wakili Kebisho. They're not interested. So the best thing to do, my son, there, we appreciate that you are looking for a job. But meanwhile, before the job comes your way, can you be engaged in a gainful employment? Hakuna ubaya ukitengeneza chapati. I've been meeting some people making chapatis and they make money. I've met men and women, young men and women in the construction sites. So first of all, you must remove this element of discriminating the career or maybe the job that you want to do to make money.
All right. And now to Margaret.
Okay. Just to add on what Prof has said about investments and savings. So it's all about agenda. When you're investing, you want to get income out of it. You'll put your money somewhere, it will give you income. So when you're investing, that's the aim. You want to get money out of it. So you'll either use that money to fuel your needs or for other expenses or another investment, sorry. And when it's savings, you're putting money aside for future use. So under savings, we have things like emergency funds, life insurance, and maybe for other just expenses that are maybe big that you can't directly cater for them. Example, when you're saving for a house, or even to buy a car, or even to travel. So that's the difference. The thing is, you need to have both for, again, balance. You need to invest so that you get more income, and you need to save to caution yourself from emergencies and also save for future expenses. Let me touch on businesses. So how to create a business plan that works. You're basically answering a number of questions. What do you want to sell? Because you're selling either a product or a service. Where do you want to do this? Are you doing it online or physically? If it's physical, what's the particular location that you're doing it at? When do you want to start? What's the time period? Are you starting in 5 months? Are you starting tomorrow? And what period is your business going to run? How are you going to do this? What is the process? So one, maybe you'll start looking for funding and then looking for a location. And lastly, how much? How much will it cost, and how will you access the funds? So basically, when you're coming up with a business plan, those are the questions you're trying to answer. And then you asked, how do you identify a business opportunity? First thing, it's good that you know you want to identify a business opportunity. So you're more aware, okay? So when you're walking outside, when you're associating with your neighbors, your friends, your family, you can easily identify a problem they have. Because a business solves a problem. When you solve someone's problem, they give you money. That's how you generate income for your business. So being aware so that you can identify problems that people or other businesses are facing. Second, there's money in money. Every time you give someone money for their business, there's an opportunity you can look at, you can find. That's why I'm saying there's business in money. You've given someone money to buy clothes. There's also an opportunity. Because if you can spend your money in a business, you can definitely get money from that area. And lastly, your question was how to know if a business is working or not. So your business can be for profit or just to give back and to help. And you know if your business is working if you're getting your main aims, whether it's profit or to help out the society. That's why we have something called KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. Hizo ndio vitu zinakusaidia kujua biashara yako inaendeleaje. Let me give an example of the business I run. We offer financial products and services. My KPIs are how many products are sold. That's how I'll know how the business is, whether it's working or not. How many people am I able to reach? How many people am I able to offer my services? So look at your business. What do you want to achieve? And how can you measure what you want to achieve? And that's how you'll know whether your business is working or not. Yes, over to you, Robert.
Wow, great insights. I'm learning too. So I think on saving and investing, what you need to know about saving, first it happens in your mind. You have to make a decision that the money that is going to come home tomorrow, you are going to set aside part of it. If you don't make that decision, the money might come and disappear. So you have to make that decision. And I would say saving is a teacher. I'll emphasize on that. The moment you are used to setting money aside, it becomes natural. Whether it is 1,000 Kenya shillings per month or 500, you get used to it. Then now you can look at investing opportunities like Shofco Sacco, where you are putting that money and then at the end of the year you get some returns. And if you leave it there, it will keep growing. So that is when we say now your money is working for you. So an investment is like an extra hand that you have that is working on your behalf, because you can only be at so many places at so many times. So it's important that the money also works for you, and over time it grows. So when it comes to employment, actually career development is also part of personal finance. Career development and entrepreneurship, because most people either get money from the business or their professional career. So what we said about money is a byproduct of social capital, who you know and how they know you, and what you can do for people. So always build the skill sets. If you have a business, your WhatsApp status is a very powerful tool. So you'll find people sharing a lot of stuff on their WhatsApp status except their own business. Yet some of us, like personally, when I share on my WhatsApp status, I get a lot of business. And so what I do, I request people, friends, relatives to also share, and I get opportunities. So look at what we call also social capital. Grow it. The more you grow it, the more you talk to people that you are with in school, people around you, the more they are likely to have you in mind when the opportunities come up. But it's important to arm yourself with financial knowledge before you get the money. It's just like maths, right? Or English or Swahili. You learn it as a tool of trade. You don't have to wait for an opportunity to talk to someone to learn about a language, right? You learn it in advance. So because of that, you need to learn about financial education, financial skills, which most of us, I got to learn it much later when I was in employment, and I did some very big money mistakes and had to sober up. So it's important to learn it at a young age, because currently the median age in Kenya is about 20. So it means that most people are young, so you need to get these skills, but work very hard on social capital, which is not the number of friends that you have. It is the quality. Like if you pick your phone book, how many people can you call and get some sort of insights from knowledge, information on what is happening? Those are the people who can actually help you get employment. So work on quality, and also ensure that even your CV, get someone to help you write it. If you don't know how to express yourself, learn all those skills, whether it is in business. You can find those that if you go to buy something from them, you'll never go back again. So that person, their business might collapse. They have the business, but lack of social skills would affect that. And also relationships. Like there are people that if you lend money to, I could say there are friends that are worth probably 500 or 1,000. If you give them 500, they'll never talk to you again. So it means that such people, they'll not get a lot of opportunities, because once we are not talking, I'll never let you know of any opportunity. So it's very, very important to build yourself and be patient, have a long-term view, be positive, talk to your friends who already have jobs, friends who are in business, because they're likely to give you ideas on how they're able to achieve their goals. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Robert. And probably now taking it back to the audience for the last round of questions. There's this gentleman right here. We can start. There's also that lady right there. Let's start with that lady up there for ease of passing the microphone, even as we get these questions. Tumesema leo hapa mambo ni matatu. You either learn, get new ideas, or get out of here knowing how to manage your finances. I think the microphone is right there. Okay, proceed and ask your question.
I'm George Onyango. Swali langu ni, assume uko kwenye sako, na hii sako haipeani dividend at the end of the year, as well wezi pewa loan, you can only be given loan ndogo ya less than 50,000. What advice can I get from you? Nitoke kwenye hiyo sako niende at another sako, or should I stick keeping on saving with the same sako?
Sijapata jina lako?
George Onyango.
Amazing. Okay. Yes.
So, good evening everyone. My name is Joe Gola, and I have 3 questions. The first one is, let's call a spade, not a big spoon. So, my first question is, like with the current state of the economy, there are, let's say, youths. You talked of leakages on spending. So there are so many youths who are living hand to mouth. Now, for such a youth, is there an opportunity for investment? My second question is that you've talked about investing and like investing it to good places. When Professor was talking, you mentioned something to deal with assets and liabilities. So at our age, which is the best assets we can invest in? Because when we look at several investments, there are real estate, there are technological things such as WorldCoin, which have come about. And my third question is, you talked about mentorship. Now, who are the best mentors in terms of now financial literacy and stuff? Because we as youth, we can't go to anyone, just anyone as a mentor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Let's have that microphone passed.
Hello everyone. So my name is Abel, and I have a question on savings and growing money. So I'll start by saying that at times I feel discouraged to save, because take this scenario, assuming I had a 1,000 that I saved in 2020, right now that the purchasing power, the power of that 1,000 shilling has depreciated. So how do I ensure that I'm able to protect the money that I'm saving from depreciating?
All right, thank you very much for that question right there. Maybe we can start with Robert to respond to that.
Yes, so I would say in terms of investment asset classes, the easiest one, like in this room, I would say start with like Shofco Sacco, since they'll give you some returns, and it will also help you to be consistent and you are familiar with it. So I always say that the most important thing is the discipline to decide that in the next 3 or 6 months, this is what I'm going to do. Because there are a lot of distractions, and you'll find I have some friends who are always experts on everything that is new. So me, I usually have a goal whereby anything new, at least 1 year, I'll assume it doesn't exist. Because you can see even if it is mobile phone, the first one was used first in Kenya in 1999. So whether you used it in the first 2 years or less, it doesn't matter now, right? Everyone has it. So the same with M-Pesa, right? So it's always good to wait, but decide on what you are familiar with and be consistent, because the distraction will always come. Each and every new year, something new will come up. But the discipline of just being consistent will be very rewarded. So start with that as an asset class. And technology is supposed to, man is the one to control technology, not the other way around, right? So you're not supposed to get into debt because debt is easily available. It's about you looking at your goals, what you want to achieve, and then you go to look for a solution. So let's take an example where you are setting aside 500 Kenya shillings per month, right? At the end of the day, you'll have 6,000. So your friends will think that you are very rich, but it's just because you are consistent. Probably for them, they've spent much more on other things. So that's something that we encourage, and is a habit that you have to build. We can talk about it, but at the end of the day, you have to be very intentional. Yeah. So the other thing on saving, you talked about being discouraged. So I'll say that doing actually encourages you more than anything else. Doing and being consistent. if you save consistently in a SACCO, for example, and they're giving you 10%, let's say you started in 2020, your 1,000, it will be up by over 30%. So it will at least preserve the purchasing power that you have. So it's very, very important to learn that the reason why those who are successful, they keep succeeding is because doing is the best teacher. But when you overanalyze, you overthink, you'll always be prevented from action. You'll always have what we call inaction, and you have a lot of vibes. You know, the people always have 1,001 ideas. They're very exciting in terms of ideas, but they'll never get anything done. So that's why I encourage you to find something like a SACCO, then you start doing, and it keeps pushing you to do even more. Because when you have 1,000, you'll have ideas on how to push it for 1,500, 2,000, like that, and you keep going.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Now, Margaret.
George, you raised an issue you have with your SACCO. First, before you put your money anywhere, you have to have an agenda with it. I'm putting my money here so that eventually I can get a loan. I'm putting my money here so that I can save for A, B, C, or D. So I think, according to my knowledge, all SACCOs give dividends, and they give loans times a number of either 2 or 3 of your contribution, or you have to have a guarantor. So you need to maybe communicate with your SACCO and just raise these issues and find out. And another important thing, you have right over your money. Wherever you're putting your money at, whether it's the bank, an MMF, or a SACCO, you have the right to call and ask these questions. Pesa ni yako at the end of the day, you're the client. Call, ask these questions. I need a loan, how should I go about that? What's your interest rate? How do I withdraw money and all that? You need to call and find out about who's in charge of your money. So you need to maybe call this SACCO, get this information, and if it's not serving you the way you want it to serve you, I believe you have a right to leave and find an institution that's serving you how you need to be served, right? Yes. And lastly, Abel, I like how you phrased about money losing value. So the thing is, look at the current inflation rate. For example, if it's 9%, right? Wherever you put your money in, the interest rate should be more than the inflation rate. Otherwise, your money will lose value, okay? And that's why it comes in. Wherever you're putting your money in, find out. Call these people, ask, what's your interest rate? Does it change? How does it change? But when you ensure you're putting your money where the interest rate is more than the inflation rate, your money won't lose its value. Yes.
All right, thank you. And Prof?
Let me answer Mr. Joe Ogola for his 3 good questions. Mr. Ogola, you have raised a very important question, that the current youth of 21st century is hard to mouth. You must remember that if the income is not sufficient, think of other avenues that you can use to create more. Because the only way you can create more is by, as I said, you exert your brains, your energy, and time. You can use your phone. You become a content creator, and you start making some money. I have been seeing the youth using what we call TikTok only to show us how they can dance. We are not interested in dancing. Ask yourself, what is it that you can do, and you make a coin out of that TikTok? Am I right? The other thing is even YouTube, because you are actually spending money hard to mouth because it is not enough. So then how do you increase that? Increase another source of income. The poorest of them all is the one who relies on one source of income, including me. I do 10 things. So starting here, seated here, I do 10 things. I'm a lecturer in university, I'm a lawyer, I'm a consultant, I'm an artist. By the way, I'm the youngest gospel artist in the Republic of Kenya. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find me there singing gospel music, and I'm still making it. So the other thing, so Mr. Ogora, my brother Joe Ogora, make sure that you identify another stream of income. Investment opportunities for young people. And you talked about assets, and which is the best assets for you at this point in time. You may not be able now to buy a piece of land requiring 1 million or 2 million because the income is not that much. So you can be able to identify what we call the blue chip companies. Blue chip companies are those companies that post good returns for investors. You can buy shares there. We have got various types of shares we don't have time to explain, but you can also preserve your wealth by continued purchase of what we call shares. Eventually, you'll get enough money that can warrant you to enter into real estate and do other things with your money. Finally, mentorship, because of time. Mentorship. If you go, nowadays, everything is provided for in the Google. I can tell you, we are all over. We have been mentoring people from all over the world. So what you do, how do you identify a mentor? You don't even have to go to Nairobi City Center. Identify even one from where you come from. If somebody is doing better than you, you need to ask yourself, how come Margaret has a car, Margaret has a home of her own, and Margaret is taking her children to group of schools? Identify her, approach her. She can't swallow you the way you are anyway. So even if she was not, you can only look for what you call an avenue of reaching her. Then you can tell her, I would like you to mentor me. And of course, you can even use our numbers and text to us. We can be able to give you what we call good mentors. Mentors must always be ahead of you. If you want to fly high, like Igos, I said, stop moving around with the pigeons. Identify people who are doing much better than you and refer to them as your mentors.
All right. Now, Prof, you have 1 minute for your parting shot, even as we conclude this conversation for today.
My parting shot to my young youths: organize now or agonize later.
Well, that was brief and straight. That was brief and straight to the point. Your parting shot, Margaret?
Mine is, in as much as we look up to the government and NGOs, at the end of the day, your own personal finances is your responsibility. No one will come from I don't know where and deal with your financial situation. So you have to decide to show up, sacrifice, put in the work for your own growth, for your own financial health.
All right, thank you. And Robert now.
Yeah, so for me, I'll just encourage you to continue investing in the skills that you have. If you're a plumber, continue being good at it, so that when you have issues, we can call you. You know, there are people that when you call them, you'll never call them back again. So improve your skills, and also social capital. I'll really encourage that. So marafiki or my vibes too, you can get rid of them. Have friends that can take you to the next level. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Robert, and thank you to each and every one of you panelists for creating time and for the very insightful conversation that we've had right here. Also, thank you to the very amazing live audience we've had right here, very interactive, asking questions that we hope have been successfully addressed, and also to you who is watching this program from right there back home. Today, we were hosted by Shofco right here in Kibra. Next week, Mombasa to Asija. We'll be having that conversation na tutazungumzia maneno mengine mengi tunapokuja mji wa Mombasa, na ili kukumbuka kwamba kipindi kizima ni Vijana Tubonge, bila shaka addressing all other issues that affect and are at the heart of the livelihood of the youth. But even as we wait, even as we part, remember, continue sending your comments to the number, SMS number 20845. And right there, you'll get prompted to give your details, and most definitely, you'll get your concerns addressed in regards to the interest you have when it comes to Shofco Sacco. And also, remember, anytime, reach out on the social media platforms at using the hashtag Vijana Tubonge, and most definitely, we'll get to respond to them even as we look forward to next week's show. Thank you for joining me. I've been yours, David Kagina. Have a lovely weekend.